My chat is enjoying you. Spark says that he did not imagine my mum to be this cool from the stories I've told in the earliest videos on my channel. What does that mean? Ooh, you got armor.
Yeah,
right. You didn't take the armor from the chest, and I totally should.
Yeah, I said I would make armor while I was down there.
I said about your hands shaking. My mom's hands shake because of medication she takes.
Yeah.
It's just a side effect. But she's freaking awesome. And no amount of shaky hands will stop that. You laugh, but I'm right.
Thank you, darling.
And people are enjoying the nerd talk. Lord Lactose said, quick ramble, go talk about more water, as one of my channel redeems, which means I just need to go. I can't think, we can't think about this. We just need to talk about water. When I was young, I used to like the water so much. Getting me out of the swimming pool was so hard. And one of the ways to calm me down when I was crying when I was a baby was putting me in the shower, which we will talk about more in a minute because we just got a redeem for Baby Story from Mum. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be that, but once I'm done talking about water a little bit, once I finish this thought about water, I don't really have anything more accent-wise about water. Yeah, you used to not be able to get me out of the water at all. I was hesitant to leave the bath. I would stay in the swimming pool for hours and hours. And now these days, getting me in the water is so hard. I don't like taking baths because I get panicky. I feel like I can't breathe even when my chest is above water.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what happened.
I don't know either. You used to be such a water child.
Yeah.
Baby story?
Baby story.
So, when you have a baby, lots of people give lots of advice, for which I am grateful. They tell you at the beginning that all babies do is eat, sleep, poop, and cry. This is not as correct as one might like, but it's a good starting place. But in the effort to stop the baby from crying, you try and figure out why the baby is crying. And the reasons they tell you to look for include hungry, sleepy, wet, in pain. Nobody mentioned bored as a reason the infant might be crying. Shaylora did a lot of crying because she was bored. Shaylora is an outside person. I am an inside person. It was a surefire way to stop her crying to go outside and take her for a walk.
I love you.
So we would engage in these negotiations in which Shaylora would cry, which is, as a negotiation tactic, surprisingly effective. And I would say, what do I have to do to get you to stop crying? Well, Shaylora would stop crying if I spun her round and round and round in a circle.
Yes.
But only for the duration we were actually spinning around and round in a circle.
Yes.
Not for any moment longer than that. It is a very temporary fix, and I got dizzy far too quickly for that to be effective. But the other way to combat boredom in my infant was to take her into the shower, because the different textures and sounds and smells of the shower were inevitably novel enough to forestall the boredom. So there was a point where we were taking like 4 or 5 showers a day because it was summer and I didn't want to go outside.
Yeah.
Now, if only we'd worked out a good strategy for getting the baby to sleep.
Oh, that would have been nice.
I know, right?
You don't want beetroot. What is even the point of growing beetroot if none of the farmers want beetroot? Do you want beetroot? You do want beetroot. Okay, well, beetroot is like the worst crop in the game.
Do their wants change over time? Or will that villager always want that thing?
Their wants can cycle unless you trade with them. If you trade with them, it locks that trade in place.
Oh, I would have expected it to be the other way around.
If you get a really overpowered trade, like if you get a really nice book trade, which is one of the things I'm trying to get right now, but the villager I wanted to trade with just wandered away, so you don't lose that trade. If you get a villager willing to sell you Silk Touch that you can put on anything, you don't ever have to worry about the Silk Touch just disappearing. Hi, Sunny!
Where is Worm on a string?
I don't know. I don't know where Worm is. Lang says Worm is probably on a string.
I see your logic. I follow your logic. I am impressed by your logic.
It totally makes sense. I can't argue with that. I am bored and not having anything to do in this village, so I am wandering away and just exploring this acacia biome.
Last I knew, there was no purpose to Lapis Lazuli other than die.
There is a purpose now. It is imperative in the enchanting process. You cannot enchant without lapis unless you're enchanting directly from books, but that's less efficient.
I have found my first gold for
Woo!
the place.
Gold is way more useful than it used to be.
Oh, good. Redstone?
Redstone is nice. I might try and make some redstone things. I'm kind of trying to see if this biome ever ends. I found the end of the acacia, but it looks like there's just another desert
It
behind
probably
that.
does end eventually.
Probably. Oh, it is not a desert. It is the ocean. It is the vast and open sea. Oh, there's some glow lichen underwater. What? You can put glow lichen underwater?
Okay, that was cute.
I found one of the new mobs. I found a glow squid. I love that my reaction to finding a glow squid was to immediately put my axe through its face. Oh, ruined portal. So nether portals that are not complete now spawn in the world with some loot around them. They're like villages where they just spawn naturally and they have some cool things that you can pick up from chests. And I just found one and it looks mostly complete. We could probably actually complete this and go to the nether. Is that a different village? That's not our village, is it? No, that's not our village.
Cobbled deep slate.
Ooh, you found Deep Slate. It will eventually be part of the Deep Dark, but that's only after they add New World Generation in 1.18.
Do you care about it?
Yes, it's very pretty. You don't need to mine every deep slate you see, but you, don't...
But you would
don't
quite
go
like a
if you're
stack of
looking for
it?
Sure. Not necessarily at this exact point.
Okay.
Don't go out of your way for it right now because we don't
Okay.
have... We don't have anywhere that we're trying to build. We don't know where we're staying.
But I will throw out cobblestones rather than throwing out deep slate.
Sure, yeah. I mean, cobblestone is important in crafting. I don't know if you can craft with deep slate cobble. Ooh. Distraction. Oh no! Damn it! I was so low on health, but I'm really trying hard to save this rare thing. That's my first death. It's fine. I'm trying to juggle 5 things at once.
Oh no, I'm gonna die. Don't
That's
die.
not
don't
ideal.
Die, don't die.
Try not to die. I also feel like I'm going to die. Yep.
Oh, you fell from a very high place.
A spider knocked me off. I was on like 4 hearts and it knocked me into the ravine, and I don't have anything to water bucket with. I couldn't block clutch or anything. I was at the point where any full damage would kill me pretty much. And I got knocked. I don't like the nighttime. Ooh, actually.
You don't like the nightlife and you do not wish to boogie.
Didn't realize this was sand. Yes, I recognize that you have every right to try and kill me, but I am asking you politely, as a person who is trying to save your undead ass, not to stab me right now.
I mean, that doesn't seem unreasonable.
I need something that doesn't have gravity. Why do all the blocks around here have gravity? As long as there's no creepers. As long as there's no creepers. Husk, you're allowed to survive. Okay. I can't even.
Can't even?
Not even. I lost all of the things. Plans went too far off that they just stopped existing. Okay, I know where I need to be. I'm following. I got overwhelmed for a second there. I died too many times and everything was happening at once. And I can't fight things and I don't know where we're meant to be or where our home is. And that makes it very difficult for me to focus and very difficult for me to play the game. Which I think is a neurodivergent thing, but it also just seems reasonable to me. It's okay. I know where my stuff is. I'm getting my stuff and then I'm focusing on the next step after that. There were too many steps and I needed to pick one, so I'm going to pick up my things now. Feels like it's only been 20 minutes. Oh, it's been an hour and 15 minutes? It's been an hour and 15 minutes and we have nothing. I mean, we have like some iron armor, but I just got blown up and killed, which does not feel like being an hour into a world. But what I need in order to function is a to-do list. So I'm gonna work on that for a moment. I'm gonna climb upstairs and I'm gonna work on a to-do list because I don't function without those.
I am glad that you have worked out what you need. And I am less glad that you were blown up by a creeper. You're having a bad run of it. Just one damn thing after another.
I really...
Okay?
No, I'm trying not to cry right now because I just reached my level of frustration and not having a plan where I feel like I'm falling apart at the seams. And I can't do any of the next steps because I keep dying before I can do the thing that I need to do, so I can't complete everything, and it's just piling up and up and up and up. But it will be okay.
It will be okay, and I just found a mine shaft.
You just found a mine shaft. That's lovely.
Which is a source of wood underground, which means that I don't have to come up yet.
It means that I'm never, ever going to see you again.
You're never going to see me again. I have dropped a chest and marked it with a lapis lazuli block so that it is easy to, easier to find.
I believe in you.
And put my valuables in chest because I did it after you died on the thought that
Yeah, don't lose everything that you've mined for.
Don't want to lose everything.
I need to go cut down a tree because I have no wood on me, and then I'm gonna make a notice board and a bunch of signs with a to-do list. I feel less on the verge of tears and like I'm going to cry and shut down. I no longer feel like rage quitting. I have calmed. I am okay.
Yeah.
I am now grappling with the fact that the only wood we have is acacia, so I'm gonna have to build acacia signs.
You don't like acacia signs?
They're bright orange, so they're not the most pleasant thing to read. I'm just gonna dedicate the side of this building as a notice board. To-do. Light up area. I don't think I can say oncoming in this line. Oh, I can say oncoming. Darkness. Because if you are not being over dramatic in your to-do list, why are you even writing a to-do list, right? You like wool when you're down mining, right?
I do like wool.
Okay, so I'll make a sheep farm. I know where some sheep are. And I really want carrots, if I can.
Hey, honey, remind me what the recipe is for an axe.
It is 2 sticks in the middle, and then three anything you're building it with in kind of an upside down L in either side. It doesn't matter which direction it's on. 1 on top, 2 on the side, so they're all connected to each other. But
Thank you.
When you have the crafting table up, you can click on that green book and it will tell you what you can craft, and if you click on the thing, it will put the recipe in for you.
Oh, neat.
I am using the word prettify because I do not care. Mountains. I'm putting mountains in caps because we are looking for mountains for the sake of symmetry. One other thing on this to-do list.
So, I'm sure I knew at some point, but I had surely forgotten that if you put a torch onto a gravel block, it panics.
Yes, they have gravity. Sometimes they spawn in not remembering they have gravity. I don't care that this looks bad. I'm actually just making it safe for now. Do we have a librarian, or did the librarian throw a fit?
I mean, we had a librarian. I don't know if we still do.
No, because I broke the librarian's job block to try and reset its trades, and then it wandered away.
What is the benefit of having a librarian?
Librarians can sell enchanted books, so I could get you fortune without having to take the chances with the enchantment table, and also be able to put fortune on a lot of things and not have to worry about the pick you're using breaking. But the librarian that we had wasn't offering enchanted books, so I wanted to try and re-roll the trades. It is becoming night again, and I am not feeling equipped to deal with the nighttime. So I'm gonna start the task of lighting up the area. Oh, and for a baby story.
Give me a topic. A baby story about?
Baby story about, I feel like you should talk about that time at the zoo.
When Shaylora was 5 months old, I was hospitalized with acute pancreatitis. I had gallstones and they kept coming loose and getting caught in my pancreas. This, by the way, is not good for you. And if you can possibly avoid doing that, I recommend it. Shaylora, being a very tiny person at the time, only 5 months old, was still fully breastfed.
Yes.
And that created some drama with hospital arrangements because the hospital was very nice. They let me have people outside of visiting hours, but only between 6 a.m. and 10 p.m. So we had people between her father and her grandparents. We had people pretty much all through the day, but from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. I was on my own with this tiny, helpless person. The day I actually had surgery, they said for reasons of safety, I would not be able to breastfeed for a certain number of hours. So Shaylora needed to be occupied during the surgery itself and then distracted thereafter.
Yeah.
My parents decided to take Shaylora to the zoo. So off Shaylora went to the zoo. Now, I can't tell you what happened that day at the zoo because I was not there. I was in surgery. What I can tell you is that we had membership to the zoo. Shaylora was a frequent visitor at the zoo. And I had expressed milk so that when this tiny person, who was at the time feeding every 3 hours, got hungry, there would be food for said person. Shaylora is a person of great specificity.
This is a good way to describe it, and one you use quite often.
Food comes in a breast. There is a certain packaging that food belongs in. As I understand it now, food does not necessarily have to come in a breast.
Yeah.
It is many years later, but at the time, food comes in a breast. So my mother presented Shaylora with a bottle of milk, and Shaylora was like, what am I supposed to do with this? Mum demonstrates that it is filled with milk. Look, you can drink from it. Shaylora is very upset. This is not how it works. Ree, my mother, explains to Shaylora in a calm and logical fashion that Mama's in surgery right now, and so you can't have a breast. But we will go and see her once she's out. Until then, if you are hungry, you can either have this or you can wait. And Shaylora, who had been feeding every 3 hours, went 7 hours without a feed and didn't complain about it until she saw me. Like, okay, I have to wait for Mama to eat again. Then that's not an option, and I just won't think about that. Yep. And then as soon as she saw me, burst into tears and threw herself full body. But this is something that we were always fascinated about, Shaylora's ability to make bargains. When I was pregnant, I was doing a full-time load at university. I was working full-time. We were moving house all in the last month of pregnancy. And I was concerned that we might not get through all of those things before Shaylora arrived. Like, we really needed to be moving house while I was pregnant, not moving house with an infant. So I made bargains with Shaylora. You can't arrive until these things have happened. And Shaylora's very good at bargains. That's the deal. I worked up until the business day before I gave birth. It was 40 weeks and 1 day. And I finished working on the Monday and went into labor on the Tuesday because that was the agreement that I had made with Shaylora. I had neglected to explain to my in utero child that once the labor starts, we're not going to get answers immediately. That you can't just be there. Giving birth is a process.
Well,
No. That was not on the list.
You didn't tell me we had to wait for that step. You didn't tell me that step took time.
When I finally went into labor, we had an abruption, which is when the umbilical cord pulls either loose from the placenta or pulls the placenta loose from the wall. And we were very fortunate in that it pulled the placenta loose from the uterine wall. It's the difference between the kid having 20 minutes of air and the kid having 2 minutes of air. But it meant that waiting for things to take their course was no longer going to be possible. Shaylora needed to be out immediately. Shaylora was just fine with this. Her heartbeat did not waver throughout the whole thing. I nearly died, but Shaylora was like, you said now. I waited. I waited for all of the things you said I had to wait for. Why are we still waiting? Promise me hugs.
Yeah. Okay, now.
Shaylora, I have found a chest. In this chest...
Are there glowberries?
There are 4 glowberries.
This is the thing I'm calm about.